Hello students, hope you are all doing well. So today's topic is data transfer group of instructions of 8085. Now all of you know the instruction set of 8085 is divided into 5 groups. Okay, the first group is data transfer. Now in data transfer group there are 16 instructions. Okay, so as you can understand, the data transfer is not doing any arithmetical logical operation. Okay, what we are simply doing in data transfer instruction, we are simply transferring the data from one place to another. Okay, so you can transfer data from register to register, okay, or from register to memory, right, or from memory to register, or you can directly put the data in the register. Okay, so these are the various modes in which you can transfer the data. Fine. Now we all know that 8085 has 7 general purpose registers. Okay, what are they? They are A, B, C, D, E, H and L. Okay, now all these are 8-bit registers. Okay, but as you have seen in the architecture video and in the addressing modes video, now these registers can work as register pairs also, 16-bit register pairs. How the pairs can be formed? BC, DE and HL, right? So these are the 16-bit register pairs. Now A is a singular register. What does it do? It acts as an accumulator in arithmetic and logical operations. Right? Okay, so these all things are already discussed, right? So before watching this video, you have to watch the video of addressing modes and architecture. Clear? Okay. Now there is another thing called M. What is M? M is a memory location pointed by HL pair. What is M? M is a memory location pointed by HL pair. Remember, M is not a register. Okay. What is M? M is a memory location. It can be any memory location whose address is pointed by HL pair. So if you say, if you are putting something in register B, okay, where the data will go? It will go to register B. If you are putting something in register C, where the data will go? The data will go in register C only. But if you are putting something in M, okay, where the data will go? The data will go to a memory location which is pointed out by HL pair. Clear? Now, if you put something into M, it doesn't go to register. It goes to a memory location whose address is given by HL pair. Okay. Suppose in this example, I have initialized the HL pair as 4000. Okay. So this 4000 will act as an address. Okay. And whatever data is present in the memory location 4000, that data will act as M. So M is the memory location which is pointed by HL pair. So of course we will discuss this in details, okay, as we see the instructions. Now, so we begin with our first instruction, okay, which is our first instruction. Our first instruction is MVI. Our first instruction is MVI. Now, all of us know MVI. What does MVI mean? It means move immediately. It is already discussed in addressing modes. Okay. So now an example with an MVI instruction is MVI B, 25H. Okay. So now in any instruction, if you see a number, you look for an I, right? You look for an I in the instruction. If there is I, the number is a data. If there is no I, okay, if there is no I, then the number is an address. We have already discussed. Now, so here the number 25H is given, right? So now there is I in the instruction. Yes or no? Of course, yes. So the number is a, this 25H is a what? This 25H is a data. Since there is an I in the instruction MVI, so the 25H is a data. Okay. So opposite to the data 25H gets loaded into register B immediately. Okay, so the move immediate, that is MVI B25H means move immediately the value 25H into register B, the simplest instruction. So the register B gets the value 25H. Okay, so whenever you write any program, you have to initialize some of the other register. Whenever you want to put any 8-bit data in any register, use this instruction. Okay, whenever you want to put any 8-bit data in any register, okay, you can use this instruction MVI. Okay, now here in this instruction, any of these 7 registers can be used. Okay, that is, so all of the instruction that is, you can write MVI A, MVI B, MVI C, MVI D, MVI E, MVI H, MVI L. Okay, you can use any of the registers with this instruction MVI. Okay, now all of the instructions works on all of the registers unless there comes exceptions like exchange. Exchange is an exception is instruction. It only works on HL and D pair. Okay, whenever there is any exception, I will tell you in detail. Otherwise, every instruction works on every register. Clear? I hope it is clear. Okay, now let us take the next instruction. So MVI is clear. Okay, now let us take the next instruction, LXI. Okay, LXI. Example is LXI B, 2008. LXI B, 2008. Now again you see a number 2008. Okay, now as soon as you see a number 2000, you look for an I. Yes, I is there. So immediately we can understand, yes, this 2008 is a data. Okay, now 2008 is a 16-bit number, 16-bit data. So any 16-bit data can only be loaded in a register pair. So in the instruction LXI, LX is also there. Okay, so if X is there, what I have told, the register, that it will indicate a register pair. Okay, so what does this basically this instruction means? This instruction means 2008 16-bit data will get loaded in register pair BC. Okay, that is B will be loaded with 20H and C will be loaded with 00H. Clear? Fine. So 2008 is loaded in register pair BC. So same is the case with, I can write here LXI D or LXI H. Fine. So I think it is clear. You can write LXI B, LXI D, LXI H. Okay. So LXI also works on all the register pairs. Fine. Now you see, why is MVI used? MVI is used for 8-bit data, loading 8-bit data into 8-bit register. Okay, and why LXI is used? LXI is used for loading 16-bit data into 16-bit register. Right? This is the difference between MVI and LXI. MVI is used for loading 8-bit data into 8-bit register, and LXI is used for loading 16-bit data into 16-bit register. Fine. Now a higher byte 20 is loaded into higher byte register. Right? So suppose in 2008, which one is the higher byte? 20. So 28 will be loaded in the higher byte register, register B. Okay, and 008 is the lower byte data. So this will be loaded in the lower byte register, that is C. Okay, suppose LXI D 1234H, right? So now X indicates D pair and I indicates that this is a data, right? So now in 1, 2, 3, 4, which one is the higher byte data? 12 is the higher byte data, so this will go to register D. And which one is the lower byte data? This is the lower byte data. Okay, so this will go to the lower byte register, that is E. Fine. So same is the case with LXI H. Suppose if I write suppose if I write LXI H comma 4008, so X indicates that H is indicating a HL pair and I indicates that this is a data. Okay, now in 4008, which one is the higher byte data? 40, this will get loaded in the higher byte register, and 008, this is the lower byte data, this will go to the lower byte register, that is L. Fine. I hope this MVI and LXI is clear. Okay, now let us go to the next instruction, that is MVI M. MVI M. For example, if I write MVI M comma 25H. Now you have already seen MVI B comma 25H. Okay, and here I am writing MVI M comma 25H. So what is the difference between these two instructions, MVI B and MVI M? Both MVI works on 8-bit data, right? In MVI B, you are putting 8-bit data 25H into register B. Fine. In MVI B 25H, what you are doing? You are putting 25H data into register B. And in MVI M, 25H, what you are doing? You are putting 8-bit data 25H into a memory location. So M is not the 8-bit register. Okay, there is no register by the name M. This is not a register. Okay, there is no register by the name M. Okay, M is not a physical quantity. Remember, M is not a physical quantity. What is M? M is a programming tool. M is a programming tool. Fine. So M is any memory location pointed by HL pair. M means any memory location pointed by HL pair. So before using instruction MVI M, 25H, you as a programmer first have to initialize the HL pair. Clear? So if you want to use M in any instruction, you have to initialize the HL pair first. How to initialize the HL pair? To initialize the HL pair, I have to use LXI 2000. Suppose, for example, 2000H. So in this way, you have to initialize the HL pair every time if you want to use M. Suppose I have initialized HL pair with 4000. LXI H, 4000. Now HL pair can have any value from 0000H to FFFFH, right? HL pair can have any value from 0000H to FFFH. So I have initialized HL pair with 4000. So whatever value is there in HL pair, that will act as an address every time. You write M. Okay. Whatever value is there in HL pair, now HL pair is loaded with the value 4000. Okay. Now HL pair is loaded with the value 4000. So every time you read this, now this 4000 will act as an address. Okay. So whenever in any instruction you write M, processor will first go to HL pair. Whenever you write M, what does the processor will do? It will first go to HL pair. Suppose HL pair you have initialized with 4000. So whenever you are writing suppose you are writing MVI M, 25H. So before that, how you have initialized the HL pair with 4000. So processor will first, as soon as it will see 4000, it will go, and as soon as you see M in the instruction, it will go to the memory location which is indicated by HL pair 4000. Okay. So in that memory location, it will load what 25H. Okay. That means your M is referring to a memory location. What M is referring? M is referring to a memory location 4000. So did you understand? M is not referring to any register. M is referring to a memory location. Okay. M is referring to a memory location. So in MVI B, 25H is going to register B, but in MVI M, 25H data is going to a memory location whose address is given by the HL pair. Understood? Likewise, if you want to access memory location 8000, suppose you want to store anything in memory location 8000, how you have to what you write, right? You have to first initialize the memory location 8000 by writing LXI H 8000. So if initialize the memory location 8000, now HL pair is 8000. For example, HL pair data, in HL pair 8000 there is data. Okay, for HL pair, now if I write LXI H 8000 for HL pair, in this instruction 8008 is data, 8008 is the data, right? But as soon as you write MBIM, suppose you are going you have to store 33H in memory location 8000. Okay, now if you write LXI H 8000, this 8008 will act as a data, but in the next instruction, as soon as the processor will see M, this 8000 will become then an address. Okay, if you are writing M, then this 8000, which was the data in the first instruction, this 8000 will act as an address. Okay, and as soon as it see M, the processor will go to memory location which is pointed by HL pair. Okay, this processor will go to memory location pointed by HL pair. What is the memory location in HL pair? 8000. Okay, and this is your M. Okay, so it will put 33H in that particular memory location. Understood? So that location 8000H will now get the value 33H. I hope it is clear. Now as you take more and more instructions, it will become more and more clear. Okay, so for the last time I am revising the 3 instructions. Okay, in the first instruction MBI, what we were doing, we were transferring the 8-bit data into 8-bit register. 8-bit data loaded in 8-bit register, right? In LXI, 16-bit data was loaded in 16-bit register, and in MBIM, okay, 8-bit data was loaded in memory location pointed by HL pair. Okay, so these are the first 3 instructions. Okay, clear? Okay, now let us understand move. Okay, let us understand move. Now there are 3 types of instructions in move, that is move B, C, that is move register to register. Now you can use any of the registers. I have for example I have used register B and C. You can use any register, move A, B, move A, C, move B, C, move B, D. You can use any of the 7 registers over here. Okay, for example I have used move B, C. Now who gets what? The 8-bit data that is stored in register C will get transferred to register 8-bit register B, right? So basically this is a copy instruction. So whatever data is there in register C, it will be copied into register B. Okay, suppose if C is 33, okay, C is 33, so B will also get 33. Okay, so this instruction is used whenever you want to copy value from one register to another register. Clear? If you want to copy the value, 8-bit value from one register to another register, you will be using this move B, C instruction, or move A, B. It's just from register to register. Okay. Now next instruction is move B, M. Move B, M. Now here what happens? Try to say it by yourself. Register B gets the value of the memory location, pointed by HL pair. Clear? What is M? M is the memory location pointed by HL pair. Okay, it is referring to the data of the memory location whose value is given by HL pair. Fine. So that particular data will be copied to register B. Clear? Clear? Now next instruction is move M comma C. Move M comma C. What does it happen? What happens here? What happens here? Try to say by yourself. The 8-bit data of register C will get copied to a memory location pointed by HL pair. Clear? The 8-bit data of register C will be copied to a memory location pointed by HL pair. Clear? Now in all these instructions you can use any of the registers. Apart from M is not a register. Okay, so apart from M is not a register, it is a memory location. Here I have used registers B, C. Okay, you can use any of the registers from A to L. Any of the registers you can use. Okay, now let's understand all this by an example. Okay, now here you see I have drawn the diagram. This is your microprocessor. Okay, so there is register B and there is register C. I have loaded register B with 20H and I have loaded register C with 30H. Clear? And HL pair contains 4000. I have taken random values. Okay, and in this memory location there is some memory location 4000. Okay, now as HL pair contains 4000, so whatever value is there in this memory location 4000, that will act as M, right? Because HL pair contains 4000, so whatever data is stored in the memory location 4000, that data will act as M. Clear? Okay, so now in the first instruction we have used move B comma C, right? So what happens? What is there in C? 30H. So B will, after this instruction, B will also contain 30H. After instruction move B comma C, the data of register C will be copied to register B and the new data of register B will be 30H. Clear? Next instruction, what we have used? Move B comma M. Now as soon as the processor will see M, it will go to HL pair, right? What is there in HL pair? 4000. Okay, so it will go to the particular memory location 4000, right? It will point to the particular memory location 4000 and whatever data is there in 4000, suppose there is some data 15H in memory location 4000. I have taken the any random value 15H. Okay, suppose there is some data 15H in memory location 4000. Now as soon as you write move B comma M, that 15H data, what is M? The 15H data, because it is stored in the memory location whose address is given by HL pair. So this data will act as M. So this data will go to register B now. So register B will be now, previously it was 30H, now it will be 15H. Clear? Move B comma M. So whatever data was stored in the memory location pointed by HL pair, that will go to register B. Clear? Now next, like the third example, what you have written? Move M comma C. Now what does this instruction means? The value of register C will be loaded to a memory location pointed by HL pair. Again the processor will see M. So as soon as the processor will see M, it will go to HL pair. What is there in HL pair? 4000. So it will locate the address 4000. Okay. So then whatever data is stored in register C, what is stored there is stored in register C, 30H. So that value will be copied to this memory location. This is M. So now 15H will be overwritten by 30H. Clear? Clear? Understood the three instructions? Move B comma C. Here first the data 30H was copied to register B. Then move B comma M. What was done? As soon as it sees M, the processor will go to HL pair. It sees the memory location 4000. Okay, it sees the data from 4000, so it accesses the data. It accesses the memory location 4000. In 4000, what data is stored? 15H. So this 15H data will be copied to register B. Fine. Then move M comma C. Okay. What does it will do? It will see, again it sees M, so it locates the it sees the contents of HL pair. What is there in HL pair? 4000. So it points out the memory location 4000, right? So whatever data is there in register C, what is there in register C? 30H. So the 30H data will be copied to the memory location pointed by HL pair, that is 4000. So previously it was 15H, now it will be overwritten by 30H. So the now new data stored in memory location 4000H is 30H. I hope all these three instructions are clear. Okay, all these three instructions are clear, I think. Fine. Okay, so now let us go to the next instruction, that is LDA 2000H. Okay, LDA 2000H. 2000H I have taken as a random value. Okay, now again 2000H. This is data or address? This is address or data? Since there is no I in the instruction, so of course this is a address. This is not a data. Okay, so LDA 2000H, what does it mean? Does the value 2000H gets loaded into register A? No, because 2000H is a 16-bit address. How can it be loaded in a 8-bit register? It is not possible, right? So what does it mean? It means that loads the contents of memory location, load the contents of memory location 2000H in accumulator. So whatever data is there in memory location 2000H, okay, whatever data is there in memory location 2000H, that data will get loaded into accumulator, right? I have told in addressing modes that if I put a third bracket, it means contents of. If I put a third bracket, it means contents of that memory location will be loaded into accumulator A. Okay. Now this is, suppose this is your microprocessor and there is some register called A. There is a register called A. We all know. Now if you write LDA 2000H, what is there in LDA? 53H. Which what data is stored in memory location 2000H? 53H. Now as soon as you write LDA, that 53H data will get loaded into accumulator. So accumulator will now contain 53H. Okay, accumulator will now contain 53H. Clear? The answer clear? What is the function of LDA? I hope it is clear. Okay, now next instruction is STA, just the opposite. STA, suppose for example I have taken STA 3000H. What does STA means? Store the contents of accumulator. Store the contents of accumulator. Okay, where? In memory location given in the instruction. So this is direct or indirect addressing mode? This is direct addressing mode because the memory location is given in the instruction itself. Okay, so what do you mean by STA? Store the value of accumulator. Now A will not get the value. A will store the value. In LDA, A was getting the value. Okay, A was getting the value. But here A will store the value. Where? In memory location 3000. Because 3000 is given in the instruction. So how will you write? A will store the value in memory location 3000. Right? Just the opposite. So LDA and STA are exactly opposite. LDA is taking the data. LDA, it is taking the data, right? And STA, what is it doing? It is storing the data, right? So 53H, suppose it was loaded with 69H previously. Now as soon as you write STA 3000, what was there in A 53H. Now the 69H will be overwritten by 53H. Now 3000H will contain data 53H as soon as you write STA 3000H. Fine? I think it is clear? Okay. Our next instruction is LH, LD, LH LD 5000 H. LH LD 5000 H. Now, what does this instruction mean? What does this instruction mean? LHLD means load HL pair directly. Okay, so don't think HL pair will be loaded with 5000 each. No, this is wrong. Okay, if we want to initialize HL pair with 5000 each, which instruction we would have used? We would have used LXI H, 5000 each. If we want to initialize HL pair with 5000 each, this instruction will be using. Then HL pair will be loaded with 5000 each. But this instruction is different from this instruction. This instruction is different from this instruction. How? First of all, LHLD 5000 each. Now 5000 each is an address or data. First of all, tell this. 5000 each is address or data. Of course, this is an address because there is no I in the instruction. Fine. So this is sorted. Now you see 5000 H contains one 8-bit data. 5000 H contains one 8-bit data, that is 84H. Okay, this is I have taken as random values. All these are random values. Okay. Now 5000 H contains 8-bit data 84H. Okay. So the contents of 5000 H will get loaded in HL pair. 5000 H data, this 8-bit data will get loaded in HL pair. But HL pair is a 16-bit register, right? It will contain 16-bit data. It will contain 16-bit data. So it needs one more data, right? 84 is 8-bit data, but it will get loaded in HL pair. But HL pair is 16-bit register, so it will need 16-bit data. So 84 data is 8-bit data, so it needs one more 8-bit data, right? So it will take one more 8-bit data. So from where it will take, so whether it will take the data from two scattered locations or from two consecutive locations. Of course, from two consecutive locations. Okay, which are the two consecutive locations? 5000 H and 5001 H. Clear? So since there are two consecutive locations, you don't have to write two locations in the instruction. Understood? So since you write 5000 H, if you write 5000 H, it will be understood that the next instruction is 5001 H. So that means LHLD means you are putting HL pair, okay, with data from two consecutive locations. Okay, from two consecutive locations. For example, suppose in this example, I have taken LHLD 5000 H. So HL pair will get data. HL pair will get data from memory locations 5000 and 5001 H. Okay. So which register will get the data from 5000 H and 5001 H? Whether register H will get data from 5000 H or 5001 H. Now for this there is a rule. Okay, the Intel processors follows what rule? The lower byte data will get loaded in the lower address. The lower byte data will at the lower address, and the higher byte data at the higher address. Fine, at the higher address. So now 5000 and 5001 is, which is the lower byte address? Which is the lower byte address? Of course, 5000. This is the lower byte address. So the lower byte address will get loaded in the lower byte register, right? And the higher byte data, which is the higher byte data? This 15H is the higher byte data because 5001 is the higher address. So this 15H lower higher byte data will get loaded in the higher byte register. Fine. So if you write LHLD, the 84H data, that is the data from the lower byte address, will get loaded in register L, that is 84H, and the higher byte data, that is 15H, will get loaded in the higher byte register, that is register H. Clear? So 5000H data is 84H and 5001 data is 15H. So H will get the value 15H and L will get the value 84H. So now the contents of HL pair is 1584H. Now you understood the difference. Sometimes if you don't have the data with you, that is data is in the memory, you have to use LHLD. Understood? That is, if you want to access 8-bit data from memory location, you use LDA. It will access 8-bit data from the memory location. And if you want to access 16-bit data from memory location, LHLD, it will access 16-bit data from memory location. Understood the difference? LDA will access 8-bit data from memory location and LHLD will access 16-bit data from the memory location. Clear? Okay. Now the reverse instruction. Okay. So SHLD. Now the reverse instruction is SHLD. Okay. Now what does the SHLD means? Store HL pair at so and so location. Store the data of HL pair at so and so location. Now you tell me, HL pair is how many? HL pair is how many? What is the size of the HL pair? 16-bit register. So it will access how many locations? 2 locations, because one memory location contains 1 byte data, right? Okay. So HL pair is a 16-bit register pair. So if you want to store the data of HL pair, it will require 2 consecutive memory locations, right? So do you have to give both the locations? No. If you give only one memory location, the other memory location is taken by default. So if you write SHLD 2008, data will get stored in where? 2008 and 2001. Understood? So who gets what? Data of register L, that is the lower byte register. Okay, data will get stored in the lower byte address. Which is the lower byte address? Suppose in this example I have taken SHLD 1234H. SHLD 1234H. Okay. Now if you write 1234H, data will get stored in 1234H and 1235H. Okay. The other address is taken by default. Okay. Now what will happen if you write SHLD 1234H? The data of register L, that is the lower byte register, will get stored in the lower byte address. The lower address 1234H, and the data of the higher byte register, that is register H, will get stored in the higher address. Fine, this is the rule. Okay, so what in this example, what is the data in L? 84H. So whatever data is there in L, it will get stored in 1234H. That is 27 data will be now overwritten by 84H, right? And whatever data is there in register H, it will get loaded in 1235H. That is 41H will get now overwritten by 15H. So now 1234H will contain data 84H and 1235 memory location data will be now 15H. I think it is clear? Okay. Now next one is LDAXB. So what does LDAX means? LDAX means load accumulator. What to load in the accumulator? The value of B? No. If we had to get the value of B into A, we would have used what? Move A comma B, right? This we would have used to load the value of register B into register A. But this is not the meaning of LDAXB. What does LDAXB? Now see in the instruction, X is there, so B indicates what? BC pair, right? That is, so what does B indicate? BC pair. So that is A is getting the value of BC pair? A is getting the value of BC pair? No, because A is a 8-bit register and BC pair gives 16-bit value, right? So who is getting what? BC pair will give you the address, right? BC pair will give you the address. So A is getting the value, okay, of memory location pointed by BC pair. We have already studied the addressing mode. I have told you this is indirect addressing mode, right? Because the memory location in which the data is stored, that memory location is pointed by a register pair. Clear? So A is getting the value stored in the memory location pointed by HL pair, right? So for example, this is your data, this is your accumulator, this is your register B. I will initialize the register B with 12H and register C with 34H. Okay, so this is B and it is storing 12H data, and this is register C, this is storing 34H data, right? So now I write LDAXB. So what A is getting? A is getting the value of the memory location pointed by BC pair. So which memory location is pointed by BC pair? What is there in BC pair? 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is, it is pointing to a memory location 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It is pointing to the memory location 1, 2, 3, 4. So what does the processor will do? It will go to first BC pair, it will see 1, 2, 3, 4, then it will access the memory location 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever data is there in memory location 1, 2, 3, 4, that is 58, will get loaded in accumulator. Understood? Whatever data is there in memory location 1, 2, 3, 4, that memory, that data, 58 data will get stored in accumulator. That is, A will be containing now 58. So what basically A is getting? A is getting the data from memory location pointed by BC pair. Understood the function of LDAXB? Okay. Now this is what type? This is indirect addressing mode. Again, why are you using LDAX but not LDA? As discussed before, LDA can act on only one memory location. Okay, but if you want to access series of memory location, we have to use LDAX. If you want to access series of memory locations, we have to use LDAX. We have told in addressing. Addressing modes lecture. Okay. Now the reverse one. What is the reverse one? Suppose STAXD. STAXD. Okay. What does it mean by STAXD? Store the content of accumulator. Now X means D is indicating a D pair, right? So when you see STA, what does it mean? Store the content of accumulator. Now, where to store the value of accumulator? In memory location pointed by D pair. In memory location pointed by D pair. For example, D pair is containing 4000H, right? So, processor will see the data 4000H, right? Processor will see the data 4000H and it will go to memory location 4000H. The processor will go to memory location 4000H, and the value of accumulator, once it accesses the memory location 4000H, it will the data which is stored in accumulator. Okay, what data is stored in the accumulator now? 58. That data will get stored in the address 4000H. Understood? What does STXD means? The content of accumulator will be loaded, will be stored in the memory location pointed by the register given in the instruction. Which is the register pair given in the instruction? D. So the content of memory accumulator will get stored in the memory location pointed by D pair. Which one is the memory location pointed by D pair in the example? 4000. So once the processor will see the memory location 4000, it will access the memory location 4000, and whatever data is there in the accumulator, it will get stored in the memory location pointed by D pair, that is in 4000. So 4000H memory location will now contain the data 50H. Understood? Now one thing you should note down, LDAX and STAX Okay, LDA and STX, it works on BC pair and DE pair. It will not work on HL pair. The reason I will be telling you later on, but for the time being you just remember that LDAX and STX instruction works on BC pair and DE pair. Okay, I have already told that if you want to do looping in your program, you have to use LDAX and STX because it only uses only one memory location. Here, if you want to use LDAX and STX in if you want to do looping in your program, you have to use LDAX and STX. Okay, when I will be teaching you block transfer program, you will be seeing the use of these instructions. Okay, now let's go to the next instruction, that is PCHL and SPHL. PCHL and SPHL. What does PCHL means? The program counter, the contents of HL pair will get loaded into the program counter. Okay, and what does SPHL means? What does SP means? Stack pointer. So the contents of HL pair will get loaded into the stack pointer. Understood? Now let us understand them properly. Now what does PC means? PC means program counter, right? PC means program counter. Okay, so what does it contain? What does the program counter contain? You understand the architecture. It contains the address of the next instruction to be executed. So it gets implemented automatically, right? Hope you have learned this in the theory classes. Now PC is a 16-bit register. It contains 16-bit data, right? And so PC will get the value. So if you write PCHL, whatever value is there in HL pair, it will get loaded in program counter. And SPHL. What does SPHL means? SP stack pointer is also a 16-bit register. It also contains 16-bit data. So SP will get the value of HL pair. Understood? HL pair is also 16-bit and SP is also 16-bit. So simply the value of HL pair will get loaded into the stack pointer. Okay? So this is very simple. So eventually we will come to know use of these instructions as we proceed. So they have interesting use. Okay? So we will be coming to these instructions eventually. Okay? Now the next instruction is exchange. The next instruction is exchange. Okay. Now exchange what? Exchange the content of HL pair and DE pair. Remember, this instruction works only on HL pair and DE pair. Clear? Now, what is doing in exchange program? We have to exchange the content of HL pair and DE pair. Now, how it will be done? Okay. Listen very carefully. First, the processor will take the value of DE pair into temporary register WZ. Okay. First, the processor will take the value of DE pair into WZ register, temporary register W. Okay. I hope you remember WZ register. Then we will transfer the HL pair data into DE pair. So we have stored the content of DE pair into WZ register pair. Okay. So now DE pair we can use the DE pair now because we have already stored the content of WZ into WZ. Then the HL pair data will get loaded in DE pair. Understood? The DE pair data will HL pair data will get HL pair data will get then we will transfer the HL pair data into DE pair. Okay, and then whatever data was stored in WZ register, okay, whatever data was stored in WZ register, it will get transferred into HL pair. Clear? We have to use the temporary register WZ in this instruction. The processor will take the help of WZ register in the instruction. Again I am repeating, exchange instruction. When you write exchange, the content of HL pair will be interchanged with the content of DE pair. How? plus the content of DE pair will get loaded in WZ register. Okay, so DE pair is now empty. Then the content of HL pair will get loaded in DE pair. We have loaded the content of DE pair. Then the content of DE pair is stored where? In WZ register. So then the WZ register will get the content of WZ register will be stored in HL pair. So the content of DE pair has gone to HL pair and the content of HL pair has gone to DE pair. Clear? So the point to remember is exchange. Again I am repeating, the point to remember here is the exchange instruction is designed to work only on HL pair and DE pair. Okay, it will not work on any other register pair. Clear? Okay, now the last instruction is XTHL. Okay, what does XTHL means? Exchange top of HL. Exchange top of HL. What top? What top? You know there is top exchange. The exchange the top or with HL pair. Okay. Now what top? You know there is a top of stack register. Okay. The most important element of stack register is the top. So you want to exchange the topmost element of the stack register with HL pair. What does XTHL means? You want to exchange the topmost element of stack pointer with HL pair. Okay. Now you know stack is somewhere in the memory, right? Suppose this is your memory location and there is some this address is given by SP, stack pointer, and the element this is called the top of stack. So SP is your stack pointer. SP is giving the address of the top of stack, right? This element, this address is given by the stack pointer. Now you are exchange the data at the top of stack with what? With the address with the HL pair. Understood? So what does SP give? The address. I am interested in the data at the data which is stored at the top of the stack. Okay. Now suppose this is your stack pointer. This is your 34H data. So 34H data is the topmost element of the stack pointed by stack pointer. Now HL pair is 16-bit, right? HL pair is 16-bit. Now the 16-bit data cannot be exchanged with one location, right? I have already told 16-bit data cannot be exchanged with one location. It requires two locations, two consecutive locations. Okay. Now this is your memory. This is your memory. Now this is the 8-bit data. 34H is the 8-bit data, and this 12H is another 8-bit data. So together 1, 2, 3, 4H it makes together a 16-bit data. So HL pair will be exchanged with data stored in memory location pointed by SP and SP plus 1. SP plus 1 is the next address of the stack pointer. The 34 is the topmost element, is the topmost element of the stack pointer, and the next data is 1, 2. So what will so after you write XTHL, what will happen? The elements of stack pointer and the stack pointer plus 1, that is the next address of the stack pointer, will be exchanged with HL pair. Now who gets what? Again you have to apply the rule. What rule? L will be exchanged with what? XL will exchange with the topmost element, that is S4 34H. Okay, because this will be the lower address, this will be the higher address, right? Very easy. This is the lower address, and this will carry the this will carry the the address plus 1. That is, it will contain more. The address will be higher than this address, right? So this will be the higher byte address. This will be the lower byte address. So the lower byte address data will get loaded in, will be exchanged with register L, and the higher byte, that is the content of SP plus 1, will be exchanged with the higher byte register, right? That is 12 will be exchanged with data of register H, and 34 will be exchanged with data of register L. Okay, data of register L. Now this instruction you have to understand very clearly, because it will help in your timing diagrams. When you will be learning in your timing diagrams, you will be you will be requiring this instruction. This is the most important instruction if you consider your timing diagrams. So you have to understand the functioning of this instruction very clearly. Okay. Now see in this diagram, so that you can understand better, I have drawn this diagram. What does this mean? Top of stack and the next address, data of the next address of the stack point. Okay, so this is the first element of that is the top of stack element. Okay, suppose I have taken the random data. Suppose HL and L pair I have initialized with data 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I have initialized the HL pair with 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and the top of stack with 1, 2, 3, 4 each. Understood? Now after the operation, after you write XTHL, what will happen? The content of stack pointer will be exchanged with the content of top of stack, and the next address will be exchanged with the HL pair. That is, SP will contain 5, 6, 7, 8, and HL pair will contain 1, 2, 3, 4 each. Okay. Now how does the operation takes place? Understand this very carefully. Okay. This will help in your timing diagrams. I'm telling you repeatedly, when you will be doing timing diagrams, this instruction is the one of the most important instruction if with reference to your timing diagram. So understand this very carefully. Okay. So what happens in the first step? What happens in the first step? See, written 1. This is the first step. The content of this 34H. Okay. This 34H will get loaded in Z register. You have to again take the help of WZ register. Okay, here the temporary registers. The content of the topmost element of the stack 34H will be loaded into register Z, and the higher byte data will get loaded into the higher byte register, that is W. This will happen in the first step. Okay. In the second step, what will happen? The content of register L, that is 78H, will be loaded into the topmost element of the stack. Okay, that is 70. Now 34H will be overwritten by 78, and the content of H will be loaded into SP plus 1, that is now 12H will be overwritten by 56H. Clear? This is the second step. In the third step, what will happen? The content of WZ, the content of register Z, that is 34H, will be loaded in register L. Okay, this was the lower byte address. This is also the lower byte register. So the 34H will be copied to register L. So now L will be overwritten by 34H. So L will be containing now 34H. Okay, and the content of W register, that is what was there in the W register 12H. Okay, the content of W register will be now loaded in register H, that is now 56H will be overwritten by WH. Okay, now 56H will be written by WH, so H will contain 12H. I hope this is clear. So after your XTHL instruction, your SP will be loaded with 78 and 56, SP plus 1 will be loaded, so SP will contain 5, 6, 7, 8 H, and HL pair will be containing 1, 2, 3, 4 H. Understood the operation? First, the content of SP will get loaded in Z, and the content of SP plus 1 will be loaded in W. Okay. In the second step, the content of L will get loaded in SP, and the content of H will be loaded in SP plus 1. In the third step, the content of Z will get loaded. The content of Z, that is the content of SP which was stored in Z, that will get loaded in register L, and the content of SP plus 1 which was loaded in W, it will be loaded in H, register H. So it will be exchanged in this way. So HL will contain 5, 6, 7, 8, and SP plus 1 will be containing 1, 2, 3, 4 each. Clear? So this is the last instruction that we are discussing. So I hope these data transfer instructions are clear to you. Okay, if there is any doubt regarding the instructions, go through the instructions very carefully. Okay, if there is any doubt, we will discuss in your class sessions. Okay, so take care and goodbye.